Good morning. Welcome to Suburban Homestead. I was going to film a little video this morning of making a typical breakfast for Pickles. As you can see, there's a lot of components that often go into a meal for her. So just a little bit of philosophical stuff first. We try to never feed Pickles unless she has previously done a period of pretty strenuous activity. For about 40 minutes just now, I ran her pretty hard. We played with a flirt pole, which is a fun little toy for your dog. It makes her jump, so she gets good exercise from that. She really works up an appetite when we do that. And you know, the idea being that naturally, any meal that a dog eats would be preceded, you know, in nature, almost always by a period of pretty strenuous physical activity beforehand. We also don't feed her on a schedule. We want to keep her kind of guessing. The principle there being that if she knows that dinner's at 5 o'clock, at 4:30, her stomach is going to start churning out a bunch of stomach acid, and that can create indigestion for dogs. So we offer her food at least once a day. She doesn't eat every single day, but we always offer it at least once a day, and almost always after a period of strenuous physical activity. So on the left here, we're going to start with the, don't mind the need to paint there. The main components are whole ground muskrat and some kind of organ. In this case, we're going to do beef spleen today. She loves this ground up antler stuff. This origin stuff has a lot of vitamins and minerals for her. Because she's such a high energy dog, we give her some oil that has some fat for additional calories, as well as the fact that the muskrat over here has very low fat. The company recommends not feeding it exclusively and adding in some kind of fat if you're going to feed that as a main part of their diet. Turmeric in the back for anti-inflammatory purposes. Bully Max is just a protein supplement. This solid gold kelp meal. It has flaxseed as well for heart health and fiber, and you know, she doesn't get a lot of fiber in her diet, so that's helpful. We give her some apple cider vinegar most of the time, not every day, but many days. A raw egg from our chickens, some nutritional yeast for some B vitamins, and some beef broth there in the back to make it all kind of into a paste. So I'm gonna assemble the meal here. I used to weigh things out, but now I've done this long enough that I can sort of eyeball what the roughly appropriate amount of an ingredient is. Some of them have a little spoon that we measure things with. So I'm gonna measure all this stuff out, and then we'll look at her breakfast and see if she wants to eat it. All right, so this is what it looks like after we've assembled everything. Not super appetizing to humans, but she goes pretty crazy for it. I should mention that we follow a whole prey model. There are a couple different raw feeding schools of thought that people use. There's a biologically appropriate raw food or barf diet that people use. But we feed a whole prey raw model. So the muskrat is got bone and organ meat as well. We try to feed roughly 80% muscle meat, roughly 10% bone, and roughly 10% organ. So that kind of adds up here for us. That's the naturally occurring ratio that most animals typically have. So that works out well. Let's see if she's hungry. Good girl. Stay. Okay. So she's accepted our offering.